The Boston Celtics have made multiple moves, signing two 10-day contracts to two players to adhere to the NBA roster rules, as Brad Stevens continues to try and keep the Celtics under the luxury tax while also getting to that 14-player roster minimum. We tell you about these signings, the rules that adhere to them, and so much more here today on Celtics Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you might be. Got two signings for you to break down, but first, why are they making these signings? Well, if you missed yesterday's video, the Celtics have to have two players out of the roster today to adhere to the roster rules. You see, the Boston Celtics must sign two players today after having fewer than 14 players for 2 straight weeks. In the NBA, you have to have 14 players on your roster for the entirety of the season besides two small restrictions. You can have less than 14 for 14 straight days in the NBA and a total of just 28 days. Now, of course, two 10-day contracts, including one for one of their two-way rookies, would help them remain under the tax line. That's exactly what they did. So let's go to the first signing here. Michael Escato has them both, but the Boston Celtics plan to sign Delano Banton to a 10-day deal, sources tell Hoops Hype. Banton just completed a 10-day deal with the Clippers. The 26-year-old guard has averaged 6.7 points in 14.5 minutes in 5 seasons combined with the Raptors, Celtics, Blazers, and Clippers. So a guy who returns to Boston. You might remember the name. He played with us in our championship year, 2023-2024. Now, notoriously, Banton, who signed with the Boston Celtics after being drafted by the Toronto Raptors, when he got traded to the Trailblazers, went off. I mean, you look at his statistics, it was very good in 2023-2024. After getting traded, he averaged 16.7 points across 30 games, 8 starts, averaging nearly 30 minutes per game, with a field goal percentage at 40% and a three-point percentage at 31%. Overall, really started to kind of get his shots up, and they went through the net. So hopefully we can kind of get that type of Banton on our Boston Celtics this year. Since then, though, kind of been a lackluster couple of years. He did play in 67 games for Portland in 24-25, averaging just 8.3 points. But since then, it's been a G League ride for him. This year in the NBA G League, he's averaging 23.7 points per game with 3.1 rebounds and 6.1 assists. Now, all in all, he is a player that has a lot of, I think, good things that you like. Delano Banton had this season with the Texas Legends, part of the Mavericks G League team, averaging, he got a 35-point game with 13 assists, 4 blocks, and a field goal percentage at 52%. As I mentioned, this year, he's only appeared in 2 games with the NBA level. In those 2 games, it's 4.8 minutes per game, averaging just 3 points per game. Now, Noah Dalzell had a report on him saying Banton, who spent the first 2 years of his career with the Toronto Raptors, who drafted him before joining the Celtics that season, he appeared in 24 games for the Celtics, averaging 7 minutes a night as a member of the Stay Ready crew. And she also mentioned that when Banton got traded to the Portland Trailblazers, a lot of the Celtics players got asked about Banton and kind of talked about, well, his skill set. And Derrick White was one to immediately say, he's always been a talented guy. A guy who can score the ball in many different ways. He's getting a chance to show that for everybody else. It's good to see him going out there, being aggressive, and showing the world what he can do. The NBA is kind of tough, where you're at your role and your opportunity. He was always working hard, and he was ready for it. Now, Banton will get back here with the Boston Celtics. Obviously has not spent a ton of time in the National Basketball Association this year, but has experience, and it's something to know that the Celtics signed these 2 contracts. I'm not trying to be rude to these players, but they were not signing these guys in terms of we believe this or we believe that about you. We like you as a player. We feel as though you can help our team on a kind of breaking case of emergency situation down the bench, and you're also going to be cheap. We're not going to go above that luxury tax threshold. That, to me, is the biggest reason why these 2 signings occurred, and it was kind of really taken aback by the Celtics and kind of the second signing they made. Now, before I get to that, kind of breaking down the plan here, the Sleeper Celtics account had a pretty good info on it. Here's kind of what he gathered from Keith Smith's NBA report, kind of talked about what the Celtics plan is. Apparently, the Celtics plan to sign 2-day contracts. We now know the 2 contracts. Once those expire, they will have 14 days in the season that they can have fewer than 14 players. They'll likely sign another pair of 10 days and ride those out before committing to 2 players for the rest of the season. Listen, all this, it's about minimizing the cap hit, staying under that luxury tax. That's the goal for the season. Really nothing more, nothing less. And here is the second signing to go along with it. The Boston Celtics are converting rookie two-way guard Tonje to a standard 10-day NBA deal. George Rusick and Mark Barstow at Priority Sports told Hoops Hype. Tonje, a former Wisconsin All-American, has been a standout for the main Celtics, Boston's G League team. But the biggest thing, when you talk about money and you talk about this signing, here it is from Yossi Grosslon. He says, Tonje, a drafted rookie the Celtics traded for, will count just $58,000 less on their cap hit than a 10-day veteran. It doesn't seem like much, but that is such a huge amount when you are literally on the line of that luxury tax threshold. This will allow them to get into the playoffs with 2 veterans and a rookie. Likely Max Shulga will get that extra 10-day contract while staying under the tax threshold. Again, that is the goal from all this. Now, I am excited about Tonje getting up into the Celtics team. He's actually had a pretty good season in the NBA G League. He's averaged 18.8 points across the main Celtics and the Utah Jazz's G League team. Off the top of my head, can't tell you who their name is. But either way, 18.8 points, 4.4 on the rebounds, 1.5 assists. 1.5 assists per game. This is kind of a guy we expected to get a 10-day contract. Really has been showing out at the G League level for the Celtics. Just the preference came in here from the Utah Jazz. Average in the G League was around 15 points, so it's kind of bumped that up since joining Maine. Again, it's going to be a break in case of emergency situation here with Tonje. I think that overall, I'm happy that he got signed. I'm happy that it's him, but it's all a means to the end. That's really what it is. And Brad Stevens, he just continues to show that he's 10 steps ahead of everybody. I mean, when the trade deadline happened now 2 weeks ago, I'm sure this was a plan in his mind. Okay, we're going to wait our entire 14 days that we have, that we cannot have 14 players. And then after that 14 days are up, we're going to go out, we're going to sign a guy that we know, and then we're going to sign a guy of our 2-way players or our rookie contract, whatever that might be, to get us to that, under tax luxury threshold, while also getting to the 14-player minimum. Now, these moves could pay dividends. I mean, you talk about Banton. Last time he was with the Celtics, he was kind of in the same situation. Down the line on the bench. Yes, he averaged 7 minutes per game, played in 24 games. But if the Celtics can kind of beat some of the next teams in the way they were beating them in 2023-24, they'll get their shot down the line. The Celtics will start the second half of the season. I say second half, the second part of their season tonight against the Golden State Warriors. I got an interesting injury report on them. We'll have a video out on that later today, so make sure you check that out. And then they'll have the Lakers, Suns, Nuggets, Nets, 76ers, Bucks, and Hornets. Again, 10-day contracts for both these guys, so as soon as those 10 days are up, the Celtics can have another 14 days to be without one. They could do those 14 days straight. They could spread them out. It really is up to them. I do think, however way this ends up happening, that the Celtics will end up signing Ron Harper Jr. to a standard contract at the very end of the season, so that way he is playoff eligible. Plus, you reward a player that you have been, liking and have enjoyed to have on your roster. But for now, guys, that's what we got for you. The 2 signings again: Tonje, and then of course the first signing of Delano, Banton. Those are your 2 10-day contracts that now officially have the Celtics at the 14-man roster minimum. That's what we got for you today on the show, folks. We appreciate you watching. See you next time. Peace out.